I run into so many composers, artists, beat makers, and musicians. They are making tons of music. They are putting their music out onto libraries. They are doing lots of different things with it. And you know, I'm a big fan of music licensing. But I think the one big thing that we are all missing in this space is putting our music out for distribution. Getting in Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon, TikTok, everywhere that music is, that we want people to be using our music and or streaming our music, and another stream of income. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
One question I get almost every day is, can I put my music that I have on Pond 5 or in a stock library or even in a sync library into Spotify? Well, my friends, the answer to that is almost 95% yes.
Yes.
Yes!
Yes.
Yes!
Again. Yes.
Yes!
Say it again.
Yes!
So my question to you is, why aren't you putting your music up to the digital music platform? This video is sponsored by the very cool folks at DistroKid. And make sure you see this link below where you can click and save 7% off your first year's membership. I'll get into how DistroKid works in a minute, but I am so grateful to be working with them here in this video and on this channel like I have with my music for years. So why am I so adamant about using a company like DistroKid to get your songs to the music services? Why is it important? Is it really worth diverting your time away from music making and then licensing efforts? Is it expensive? Well, those are the questions we're going to answer in this video so you can make music income with Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, TikTok, and more. Okay, right out of the gate, let's talk about DistroKid, and not just because they are sponsoring this video, thank you very much, but because I've been using them to distribute my music for over 5 years now. But DistroKid is the logical choice for those of us who are going to be putting our songs out, especially singles out one by one, or as we create a song or a set of songs for licensing, just the many different kinds of brands we might have, putting stuff out weekly, putting stuff out monthly, and then the incredible tools that DistroKid has for marketing. So we're going to get into those today in this video, as well as why you need to be putting your music out there. So here is the process for putting your music up to DistroKid. You just click the upload button on your DistroKid account, and you just have this one form here that lets you fill out all the things. It's pretty fast and pretty simple. There are other videos online that show you how to go into the nitty-gritty of all these things, but you basically pick your services, you pick the number of songs, if it's previously released or not. You will choose the artist name that you have on your account. In this particular account, I have 2 artist names. You will pick if you are already in Spotify and Apple Music and YouTube Music. It'll ask you these questions here. Sometimes your artist, if you've already released on here, you will have these set. If not, you will set them again. You can choose your release date, and it will tell you you should choose at least 1 week in the future to make sure that you get chances of being added to Spotify and other playlists on these services. I recommend up to 4 weeks, and in our interview with Dan Barracuda, he talks about that and how important it is to be careful that you have enough time that they can look at your music and choose you, especially on Spotify, for curated playlists, which is where you can make the money. You can add, if you want people to be able to pre-order it, you can put in your record label name. I think this depends on what kind of account you have, if you can use a record label. You choose your album cover, which should be 3000 by 3000. It has some things about down here about what to look for, and I usually do 3000 by 3000 at 72 DPI, and this seems to work just fine. You pick your language and your primary and your secondary genre. So if you're alternative rock band, you might choose alternative and rock or something like that. If you are a jazz artist, you might pick jazz, and then maybe it also has some Latin feel to it or something. So you can do the 2 different genres. You can put your song title in here, and it gives you some things to look for. Don't include your featured artist here. You'll do that in this section, and you can add the version if it's a different kind of version that you want to add. It will also let you choose your audio file. I would suggest WAV files for this, maybe AIFF, but folks, if you want to be uploading quality music to these services, start with a 16-bit 44.1K file at least, but you can also choose other higher end files, and we'll get to that in a minute. For instance, you can choose Dolby Atmos or spatial audio, and there is a cost with this, just so you know, if you're going to do a Dolby Atmos thing. And remember, only Apple and Tidal at this time. There's something here that you can click to say, tell me how to do that, but most of the time it's going to be no. You're going to choose if you wrote this song or it's a cover song. We'll get to cover songs in just a minute. If you wrote that song, you're going to want to put your songwriter name in, or you can add other songwriters here. You are able to do cover songs. If you say this is a cover song, someone else wrote it, it's got all the language and information here on how cover songs work with DistroKid. The cool part is they will secure a license for you on behalf of the actual writer. And this is really cool because you don't have to go out and do this process at Harry Fox or some other place. You can have them do it for you, tell them the original artist and writer. There is a fee of $1 per month annually, so it's $12 per year for them to manage this cover song for you. But they obtain the license. They pay the original songwriter every month, and they do other things that they describe here. And they will take care, as you can read here, they will take care of automated payments to songwriters and deduct the legally mandated fee of 9.1 cents per song sold in the US from your earnings, and send it to Harry Fox Agency, who sends it to the songwriter. So that's pretty cool that they take care of cover songs for you if you want to do that. You can put in, if there are explicit lyrics, you can also put in the radio version, saying this is the radio version of an explicit song, but this is the clean version. You can also put in if this song is instrumental. That helps if the engines are looking for instrumental songs for certain playlists or whatever. So Spotify or whoever knows what kind of song this is and where to place it. You can also choose your preview clip start time for TikTok, Apple Music, and iTunes, who play little previews for people. You can choose to let the streaming services decide or make it where the chorus starts, and it's really cool. So I think that's a cool feature. Then you can also set the track price. You have 3 possibilities here. As far as regular songs, usually you're going to say 99 cents. Tracks over 10 minutes will be priced higher. And then you have extras, and these are extra charges besides what you are paying for yearly with DistroKid. Remember, DistroKid is a yearly fee where you can upload as many things as you want to on that yearly fee. But each of these things is extra, including the Discovery Pack with Shazam and iPhone Siri, which is 99 cents per year. It tells you all the things you need to know about that right here. YouTube Content ID at $4.95 per year, plus 20% of YouTube ad revenue from matches they detect. You can find more information about Content ID and what I suggest in my Content ID videos on this channel, but you do have that option here. Store Maximizer. DistroKid will automatically deliver this single to new online stores as we add them and as they are developed. So if a new Spotify comes along, they will put you in that store. But it's $7.95 per year. You can choose if you think that's worth that. They have this thing that's relatively new called Social Phone Number, where you can post and collect people's phone numbers. This is not something I've used, and at $12.99 per month, it is a little pricey. Loudness normalization is $2.99 one-time fee. If you're not sure about your loudness levels and you don't understand that kind of thing, you may want to choose this. It's a $2.99 one-time fee, just $3 one time. I don't do this because I know I have my mixes the way I want them, so I don't change them, but you can do that here. The one thing that I might check on some of my upcoming songs is the Tidal master. And it's not just for Tidal, but for any of the streaming services that use a higher quality audio file type quality. This is something I might want to choose for some of the songs that I feel that I'd really like people to hear the higher quality version, because I usually do put 24/48 files up to all of these services. And then Finally, you have the Leave a Legacy where you can pay $29 one-time fee, and that covers you in case you decide to quit using DistroKid down the road or your credit card is declined. You can always make sure that your song is going to be up at Spotify for as long as Spotify is up. And it says you can protect your music and leave a legacy for future generations. And we're going to talk about legacy here in just a minute. So you may or may not want to do that. Then it will have some checkboxes down here about knowing that you selected YouTube Music. You're the person who's authorized to sell this. You didn't use anybody else's name. You did the right capitalization. And you've read the DistroKid distribution agreement. And then you click done and you're done. But the real win for me with DistroKid is in a few ways. Number one, the tools. I mean, hyperfollow alone is worth its weight in gold, especially when I want to show it off on social media or I need a place for people to go to see the song, to hear the song, and to go to the store where they might want to go and listen. I think this is very important. Also, DistroKid offers some really cool tools to make little videos to put on your social media so you can use those. They also continue to come up with these really cool little ways to get heard, like this thing called slaps.com, which is kind of a social network, and a playlist spotlight where they have a voting thing in the DistroKid communities that you can get voted on a playlist, and this thing called Wheel of Playlist where you get to spin the wheel and get on a Spotify playlist. So there's a lot of cool things like that that DistroKid offers to you. Now, it would be easy for me to say all this because they are sponsoring this video, but the truth is I have at least 5 different brands with DistroKid, and I'm adding some more now because it allows me to put lots of different kinds of music brands up to Spotify and different places like that. So DistroKid is really a no-brainer for me since I compose and release so much music. Now, I know many of you watching this are creating music for libraries, either stock, sync, or maybe even your own. But before we found out about this whole passive income licensing thing, there was another passive income that we used for decades. It was called distribution. Now, yes, it may have been more lucrative when CDs and not streams were the way that we sold music. But remember, this is still income that pays us passively while we sit by and do other things. Once we put it up, it's another income that comes to us. We do nothing and money comes in. It may be a small stream, it may grow to a large stream, but we do have to make the effort to put the music up in the first place, just like we put it up to stock music libraries, just like we are trying to pitch to other things like sync libraries and things like that. We have to put this up there so people can find it, so that they can stream or download it, and so places like DistroKid can pay us. Sadly, passive income comes down to time, doesn't it? We spend a lot of time creating and then so much time uploading it and pitching it and tagging it and all the things that we have to do. Then we have to deal with, is it going to be accepted? Are we going to get into this library? It's exhausting. So we tend to let go of this passive income that is just sitting right there that the entire world uses, which is distribution. So let this be my plea to you, and a plea to myself to get to work. We need to keep distributing our music and getting it out to the world. You know, one thing I think that we forget about with all of our music making and pitching and hoping for passive income and all that kind of stuff is the fact that distribution, putting our music out there, gives us something that licensing often does not, that even playing at shows does not. Do your friends and family and fans go hear your music at a stock library site? Does anyone even hear the music that you are waiting for some sync library to grant you the opportunity to put your music into them? Can you even remember a time before you heard about music licensing, before you heard about, ooh, wow, I can make money by putting my music out there onto these libraries or here or there, and you were just putting your music out for people to hear? Do you remember that? Do you remember that time when all we did was sell our music and get paid for our music from fans, from friends, from family? Does anyone even hear something that you aren't showing anyone because you're waiting for that right sync library to find it, or you're waiting to hear back from Motion Array, or you're waiting to hear back from this or that stock library or whatever? You're putting it up there and no one is hearing it. Talk about not making music income. You're not going to make any music income if no one knows that the music is there to buy. There was a time where you either played a gig or you sold merch at your table, or you put it in a store locally, or you had some kind of distribution deal, and then you told everybody about it. Or even there were times that you told people on social media about it, where they could go buy it. Yes, it was marketing, but it was also something else. It was legacy. If you died tomorrow, would the world be able to find your music? Sure, some YouTuber might find a track on Pond 5 or Motion Array, but what about the other 99% of the world? How will they find your music? That used to be record stores, that used to be radio, but now it's Spotify, it's Apple Music, it's Amazon, it's Tidal, it's TikTok, it's YouTube, it's Pandora. All these places are where the world is going on their phones to listen to music. Now, my legacy lives on at these stores, and I am happy about that. I think there's way, way more I could put up to these stores, and I'm working on that now. And your legacy can live on too, but only if you put the music up for the world to find and hear. So what if one of your songs that you've put up into one of your music libraries is picked by a music supervisor, or it's picked by someone searching a sync library for your song, or some stock library uses it for a broadcast use? Won't you want people to find that song at Spotify the moment it airs? And you won't necessarily know if or when that song is going to air on TV. Personally, I sit there many nights and hear a song on a TV show, and I'm like, boy, that's cool. Who is that? And I will hit Shazam, which is a listening service that will hear the song and tell you who did it and where you can find it. Well, that won't happen unless you have put it up on these services. What if someone finds your song on Spotify and wants to use it in a big ad campaign or for their company? I had a contract that was in play for a mid-5-figure deal simply because someone found a song they wanted to use for their company on Spotify. These are just two reasons why it's so important to have your music up at all online stores and streaming services. Licensing can beget sales, and or being on streaming services can bring in licensing options. This is why it's so important to have your music up on the streaming and download services. So how much can you really make from distributing your music to Spotify, as well as the other services? Doesn't streaming pay very little? Well, don't tell that to Dan Barracuda. I interviewed Dan a few months ago, and you can see that right here. And you probably have already, because Dan makes his entire rent and way more now, because he's hit some very big playlists, with just 2 tracks of acoustic guitar in his very simplistic but beautiful guitar method. If you're wondering why you need to put your music on streaming services, you need to watch that video. I also talked to someone quite recently making 5 figures a month, streaming his very unique ambient and different kinds of music and sounds to DSPs like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, and more. He makes playlists, and he is bringing in the music income, I'm telling you. Stevie B just had a very nice payment from DistroKid because of the music he has on Artlist. And I continue to make hundreds of dollars from DistroKid every single year just for putting my music out on these DSPs. Folks, this is not something you need to sleep on. Maybe you don't feel like being an artist, but this isn't only an artist thing. It's a brand thing. Don't want to put your picture on a Spotify account? Fine. Don't. I have so many music brands that are out on Spotify. Here are just a few of them. My jazz brand, Player A, my Quiet Soul piano brand. I have other brands that have just started to come out, and you can see them here, and they are all across the services and all across the stores now, and will continue to bring in income for years to come and continue to be legacy for my music, even though I'm not featuring my face on them and I'm not featuring pictures of me waving or pictures of me being cool or anything like that. I am using graphic design and making the art about the song. Plus, people don't go to Spotify to see art. They go to Spotify to listen to things. So put your music up where people can go and listen to it. So what are you waiting for? Sites like DistroKid make it super easy to distribute your music. And again, check out the link below to save 7% on your first year's fee and get as much music as you want out and get 100% of the income made from it. Do you have 5, 10, 50, or hundreds of songs? Get those suckers out. Start a new stream of music income yearly. Why keep them stuck in a library, on a CD, or worse, gathering digital dust on your hard drive? I have seen literally thousands of dollars of income from sales from online stores over the past 12 to 15 years. And it's doing nothing but growing for everyone as streaming has become the dominant way for the world to listen to music. Use a distributor like DistroKid and get your music out to the world, my friends. Leave your music legacy out there and make music income. Thanks again for DistroKid for sponsoring this video. And as always, thanks for watching.